passed by multiple cars, as I mentioned earlier on, so Nuoff in a very precarious situation, but he often finds himself in these places. He doesn't qualify as well as he races.
Up front, they are getting with Lee Aberdeen and Luca Varani, not very far apart at all here. But I just want to see how Alistair Haight deals with Marcello Kessler coming around the old hairpin.
I would say it's not the best decision they've ever made, just not having done that under the safety car, really.
Yeah, they're taking their pit stop strategies from Ferrari lately or something. What's going on?
In turn one, just too much gas on them, too much feet on the loud pedal, and unfortunately he's dropped him all the way down the order. But Philip Hammer is out in front by an 8.91 seconds. Dan Michael is a wall there, sir. And definitely doesn't want to be hitting that earlier on as well.
Difficult, the understeer is in the dirty air through that final corner because it's such a long corner and you get dragged off into the grass very easily. He'll have the slipstream down it towards the chicane. Peterson was briefly alongside, but that slipstream has saved him and kept him in third.
Yeah, Varani now lost a little bit of time to Aberdeen, about half a second. Peterson is Pike's pushed Morton forward up ahead. He's got out of line. Is now Pike going to have a go at Werrell? Don't push him off. He's in the championship fight. Jack Werrell chasing down Carl Jacklin. Further down, Rob Williams and Chris Barnes.
Sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's come back into play. Exactly. Miller's still such trouble. He's left on second and change. All of a sudden, Miller's back in play.
To the back end of Phil Jocelyn. So there's been a lot of movers and shakers in this first 2 laps here for race.
Absolutely serious racing league. Everybody's allowed to have fun. Yeah, it's all about the entertainment. So I hope everybody is enjoying themselves out there in the chat. We know that Ron is been enjoying himself watching. And Burger King machines off into the grass a little bit there as they're really bunching up now.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and we return again already on a Monday evening with a radical SR8 championship from Road America. I'm James Barber, going to be joined in the booth by Tom Cairns here at the 6.41 kilometre circuit. 14 turns on the racetrack here as well. Some really weird numbers from numbers 1 to number 3, but then there's number 2 in the middle, which really isn't a straight, but we'll call it that. Anyway, thank you so much for joining us here. It's going to be an epic night of racing. Round number 3 of this 10-round calendar. And to be honest, it's been very, very exciting. You definitely come and get yourself involved in this one. So you can see we're starting off Road America for round 3. Then we head to Monza next week. Spa-Francorchamps the week after. Bathurst the week after that. Brands Hatch GP, Imola, Knockhill. And then we've got a special 60-minute race at Nordschleife. No qualifying, no heat one, just a straight 60-minute sprint. We have got qualifying here, which the drivers have just about entered into before they go into heat number 1. Heat number 1 will be a 10-minute race. And then heat number 2 will be a 45-minute race with a pit stop. So they will have to take a pit stop, okay? That's one of the imperative things here as well. We've got Paul Crabb out on the circuit. He started off, he was victorious last week in Road Atlanta for Paul Crabb, so good job for him. But let's bring Tom into the booth. Tom, welcome in. How are you, buddy?
Where he just crashed out via his own accord whilst in the lead, and yeah, he just didn't have anything to respond to that, and so he retired on the spot. But let's see how he gets on here.
Yeah, got it here as well. Apologies for that one. If you couldn't hear Tom on there for a little bit of that, that was due to Discord playing silly rascals there as well. But we can have a quick look at the championship standings as they stand currently. This is the situation. James Barry is out on front on 129 points, 4 points ahead of John McCutcheon, with George Gonzaga in third, and Ewan Bramer in fourth, Jamie Bird in fifth, then Mike Busson finding himself inside the top 10 in sixth place, Eric Harmon in 7th, David Rolliston 8th, Menno de Graaf in 9th, then Luke Maxwell, Paolo Tempera, Carl Jacklett and Rob Williams, with Graham Matthews and Stefan Mellis rounding out the top 15. Then we've got Paul Crabb, Leah Anderson, Wayne Palmer, Julian Rees and Josh Reed are the last of the point scorers. No points on the board as of yet for Colin Wynn and Steve Burns there, as unfortunately, well, neither of them have turned up here, but it's looking like there's a little bit of a battle between John McCutcheon and Luke Maxwell this evening. Both of them were quick in practice, the quickest in practice here, John. Tom, sorry, and we just can't count them out, can we, throughout this race?
No, definitely not, and I would expect them to be right in the mix throughout this one, both in the sprint and in the feature. We've got 2 minutes to go. There's still some drivers with greens in some sectors. Paul Crabb going purple in the first sector before the lap is out, and I don't know whether he's actually bettered his time.
Yes,
Paul Crabb. He actually, he has done. So he goes up to P2 with that latest effort.
Paul Crabb moving himself up into second place there as well. Ewan Bramer over the line he goes, and into the corner. Leah Anderson coming over the line now. What is she going to be able to do here, and what sort of time is she going to be able to get? It's an improvement up into ninth on a 1:59.313. What about Mike Busson as he comes over the hill? Mike sitting in 7th, 1:59.053. James Barry down in 15th. He's going to be coming over the line very, very shortly. What is he going to be able to do? As Graham Matthews moves himself up into 11th place. James Barry pops himself up into 5th Not a bad opening lap for James Barry. Jamie Bird next over the line as Rob Williams pops himself into 16th. Jamie Bird, where are you going? Are you going anywhere? You are. You're going into 6th place. Great job. David Rolliston in there, and Paolo Tempera will be one of the people over the line as well. Lots of action here. As I'm expecting Tom to be blatantly honest. I think it's going to be very, very exciting. That long start finish line is going to provide some overtakes, I think, into turn 1 if they can get it done. Then, of course, we've got the Marine Sweep down into turn 5. It's going to be quite exciting to see how they play this one and how they get on. Long pit lane, need a pit stop in race number 2. They've got to time it right.
They've got to time it right, and they need to make sure they time it correctly as well. Hutchinson will learn from last week where he pitted in rather early compared to most of the others. And I think with him coming in as soon as he did, it didn't quite play out as well as he would like to have done. And I think that may well have decided the race. So it'll come down to who tries what and how effective that will be as Hutchinson continues to set the pace. And he must be thinking, well, I've got to try and go for a win here tonight if I can.
Yeah, Luke Maxwell there as well. Fighting out on the racetrack. Sitting in 3rd place now is Paul Crabb. Puts himself into 2nd. So Paul Crabb in 2nd place there and goes into the pits as Paul Crabb is on his way back out now there as well. Ewan Bramer sitting in 4th on the way down into turn 5. He has got John McCutcheon tucked up in between them. We've got 18 cars on the racetrack, the last one being Mr. Robert Williams. We've got James Barry getting some improvements over as well. And we'll see what James can do as he comes over the line, puts himself in 4th place. Great job from him. Roll about Mr. Williams in that 93 Kraken Racing team, still sitting in 18th at this moment. Jamie Bird, he doesn't go quicker than what he did last time around. What about Paolo Tempera? He's got greens on the board and splits it up. Is he going to make an improvement? It's got to be an improvement. It is at 1:59.292. But you can see between Josh Reed having what looks like a good lap here, Tom, to John McCutcheon, who's got 3 purples on the board.
Yeah, well, Hutchinson absolutely going for it. And we're not too far away from the checker flag falling in qualifying. Just looking at the rules as far as I remember, it's a 15-minute qualifying session, not a 10-minute qualifying. I don't know why I was thinking 10 minutes. I was probably thinking top 10 reverse grid or something like that. But I had number 10 in the back of my mind. But it's a 15-minute qualifying session. We've got 3 minutes to go. John Hutchinson coming through. But we're looking at Josh Reed heading over the line, 10th fastest at the moment. He makes his way up the order by the looks of it there because he had loads of greens. He goes up to 9th position. But Hutchinson should better his time, but I don't think he did on that occasion.
No, he messed up the last few sectors, did John. Luke there as well on a 58.151. Stefan Mellis is here as well, sitting down in 15th place. Carl Jacklett puts himself on a 157. No improvements for Carl, goes up into 15th. What about Stefan Mellis? Mellis takes the 15th place away. Eric Harmon will be next up on the list as they come up over the hill here. Most of the action kicking off, as you see, they're all quite spread apart. There was a conversation about drafting and qualifying. We did have to lay the smack down and say, hey, listen up here, sunshines. You know you're not allowed to draft in quali. If you are in and around somebody, back off just a little bit. And, well, hopefully it looks like all these guys have done that as they are very spread out across the race circuit. David Rolliston is going to be next over the line as well. David Rollo sitting in 7th place at the moment. Is he going to stay there? He is, but he breaks into a 1:58.661. So a great job from David Rolliston there. And then you've got Menno de Graaf at the back here, Tom. And he is currently down in 17th.
Yeah, he's got some work to do. His racecraft has been excellent, thinking of it, though, for Menno de Graaf. It's all not doom and gloom if he ends up being where he is. But he is on a better lap compared to what we've seen from him. If he finds a couple of 10s, he might leap up a couple of positions ahead of Mellis and Jacqueline. But we'll see where he ends up over the line. Does he go ahead of him? Or more than that, goes up to P12.
Yeah, great job by Menno de Graaf. Got that Mike Boots on in front of him. There is Ewan Bramer there, as he's going to be coming up now. Ewan over the line he's going to be going. What is he going to be doing here for Ewan Bramer? Puts himself in second place. Great job from Ewan Bramer there. Second place for him. Jumps up right at the end. Great job from Ewan.
Yeah, we've got Gonzaga, well, going over the line. He goes up to P8. And that is Stefan Mellis, are we looking at down there? Can't quite see. He just went off at the last corner. Hopefully they'll stay out of everyone's way because some will still be finishing laps. Who is heading over the line next? Well, we can say that Leah Anderson has improved her time to P13. Mike Bousson going up to P7 with his final effort. 20 seconds to go. Anyone on the fast lap can complete it, providing they get over the line before the 15-minute mark. James Berry, fifth fastest currently, goes up to P3 with his, so good job by him. And Jamie Bird has found the barrier.
Yeah, Jamie Bird there, unfortunately, getting that one all a little bit pitong. So, poor old Mr. Bird is going to be struggling just a little bit here once more. But qualifying has come to an end. We will bring you up the grid here, and let's let you know who is where. John McCutcheon is in first place with Ewan Bramer in second, James Barry in third, and Paul Crabb in fourth. Luke Maxwell in fifth, Eric Harmon in sixth, then Mike Bousson in seventh. Then we've got David Rollison, Jorge Gonzaga, Jamie Bird, Josh Reed, and Menno de Graaf last in that 12th place. Leah Anderson 13th, Paolo Tempera, Graham Matthews, Stefan Mellis, Carl Jacklett, and Rob Williams is in that final slot on the grid here. It's going to be a very, very exciting one, a very, very interesting one. 10 minutes, they're not going to get many laps in. It might be only barely a 5-lap race here.
Yeah, well, they'll take it any day. These drivers, they're kind of like the longest circuits, I think, these lot, compared to these shorter ones, particularly Red Atlanta last week. They'll get on with it for sure. I mean, they've got other long circuits to come, i.e. Spa, we've got Bathurst as well. Imola maybe a little bit. Knockhill is most certainly not a long circuit. It's perhaps one of the shortest in Europe, let alone in Britain. And Nordschleife is without a doubt going to be the longest that they'll be contested.
Yeah. Right, just waiting for the traditional lateness of John McCutcheon, Luke Maxwell, and Mike Bousson. There is James Barry. There is Mike on the grid. Where is John? John and his traditional late entry. There he is, the Scotsman himself behind the wall. Right, ladies and gentlemen, the first 10-minute heat will be up and running. We got 3, we got 4, we got 5, and it's going to be green here. All now right at Road America with John McCutcheon taking the whole shot with Ewan Bramer sitting in second. James Barry got himself over, covered off in third place there. Paul Crabb sitting in fourth with Luke Maxwell in behind that one. Oh, Paul Crabb's gone.
Yeah, a long way into the run fair. He avoids the wall, but he's at the back, is Paul Crabb. The chance of him repeating his sprint performance in Road Atlanta is very much down the drain. But Hutchinson taking an early lead from Ewan Bramer with James Barry on the tail. We're going to see how effective the slipstream is going to be on not just the Morian sweep, but also on the pit stop. You can see James Barry thinking about it, but Bramer on the inside of Hutchinson into the left under turn 5, and they're both off.
Yeah, Ewan Bramer took a big old dive there. He dived deep at the top daily, did Ewan Bramer, and unfortunately he just got it all wrong. It was far too deep, far too hot for Ewan Bramer. James Barry out in front now with Luke Maxwell in behind him. Jorge Gonzaga behind that with John McCutcheon in there. Then we've got Jamie Bird, David Rolliston and Eric Harmon all fighting out. And we can see there Carl Jacklett making moves in the background as he's side by side with Mr. Robert Williams. Williams holding on currently up 5 places from where he started. A great job from Rob, but it is James Barry and it is Luke Maxwell tucked in right behind him here as well. Great action taking place. Jorge Gonzaga in behind that. He's got John McCutcheon closing up. Ewan Bramer just far too hot there. He just went in and he just carried far too much speed. You can see him there. He's in the red car in the middle. He comes from a long way back. He's on the brakes. He's on the brakes. He's on the brakes. He's on the brakes. He can't get it stopped. And unfortunately, he does go round. Leo Anderson also makes a mistake after that. And you see Mike Bousson having to take evasive action there. contact with the cars in and around Leah, and unfortunately she's off the side of the circuit as well.
Yeah, it was Josh Reed that went for a spin. I was looking on the timing tower that he made a mistake, and that explains it. And Leah Anderson had to take evasive action to make sure she did not end up going around the same way. But James Berry in his customary position in first place, with Luke Maxwell in second, and it's Jorge Gonzaga, John Hutchinson, Jamie Bird, with David Rollison sixth ahead of Eric Harmon, and it's Paolo Tempera, Mike Buson, and Stefan Mellis in the top 10 as they come around the Marine sweep once again.
Yeah, down the Marine sweep they go now. George Gonzaga under attack. John McHutchinson's going to go sweep round the outside. He's gone in too hot himself this time for John. Jamie Bird's going to find his way through. Far too hot for Mr. McHutchinson this evening. Just cannot get that car stopped. Down into Marine sweeps, making a mistake after a mistake after a mistake. There's Stefan Mellis. He's got Leah Anderson in front of him. Mr. Williams tucked in right behind him. He's got Carl Jacklett throughout the field. But it's all about these two at the moment at the front top. You know, James Barry, Luke Maxwell, kind of running away with it at the moment.
Yeah, so we've got an opportunity to see how these two properly dice it out. It's a sprint after all, so it's not like they've got too much to lose. There are separate point systems in both the sprint and the feature races, and these two will be wary of that. But Luke Maxwell, well, he's got with it all to gain at the moment because he's had some costly errors, it has to be said. The costly error last week in the feature race, which saw him retire, and the pit stop melody where he underfueled in at Alton Park.
Yeah. Tell him that. But unfortunately, it was one of them things, wasn't it, for Luke Maxwell? It was a mistake that I'm sure he probably won't make again.
We'll wait and see. But we've got Maxwell on the tail of James Berry. Does he decide to go for it into turn one? New fast race so far, and he decides not to go for it on this occasion. But he'll be thinking about turn 5 to really send it and hopefully make it clean, unlike Bramer did when he tried to get past McHutchison, and it totally backfired.
Yeah, exactly, and I think that's the thing. McHutchison's definitely struggling down into the turn number 5 as well, down into the Marine sweep, right? He's having a tough time, and for him, he's got to just basically try and stay and get under composure and get that car stopped at the moment. Maxwell's not going to make a move, he's too far back. McHutchison's not making a move either. A lot better corner from John McHutchinson there. Got the car stopped, got it turned. He did a lot better job than he did earlier on, and I think at the end of the day he's going to have to try and battle his way through. Not going to be easy though with the cars he's got in front of him.
No, absolutely not. And you've got a battle between the top two at the moment, which if they continue to dice it out, I think we should expect them to do. There is a bit of a gap there between Barry and Maxwell, but expect that gap to come back down once more. These three could end up in the fight for the win. You never know.
Yeah, they could do. It depends on whether or not they're going to come together, isn't it? I think that's the thing with any series. At the end of the day, you've got to just make sure that you can complete the race cleanly. You can't be doing anything silly. One of the main aims of the game is when you're in a series like this where you have got two races, you know, you've got to try and complete them. John McHutchison into Canada corner gets the job done over Jamie Bird there, so a great job from John. And he's now through, chasing down. Contact with George Gonzaga. Contact with George there, and unfortunately, both of them end up off the side. And that is never good. George Gonzaga, and we kind of need to get that back a little bit further. Let's see if we can get it from here. This is where the overtake starts. And then he just gets up in behind George. Oh, he's just got more speed.
Yeah, he came too far, but he was never going to complete the move there. I think he was preparing more for the pit straight. I think there was just a misunderstanding between the pair of them, but if anyone's to blame for it, I'd have to say it's in Hutchison's part there. But a shame, because both of them are running well, and that has handed a bit of a lifeline to James Barry and Luke Maxwell, who have got only themselves to really battle against now.
Yeah, Maxwell in behind Barry. Up through turn 6 they go, through the left-hander. Now into the right of turn 7. It's the run down into turn 8. which again is that left-hander. He is going to get through now into the carousel. Everything seems nice and clean from these guys. No real dramas at this moment in time. Gary Walsh is in YouTube chat again. Hi, Gary. Hope you are well, sir. Look forward to seeing you out on the track very, very shortly. But Luke Maxwell, Mr. Barry, having a good old battle. Liam Anderson chasing down Mike Buson. Then we've got Rob Williams at the head of a train with Stefan Mellis, Carl Jacqueline, Menno de Graaf, Ewan Bramer, Paul Crabb and Graham Matthews. It could be any one of these cars here that's going to take this fight to these guys at the front. It's kind of Rob being a little bit of a cork in the bottle. He's got Stefan Mellis tucked in now. Rob's on the defensive down into Canada corner. Is he going to defend that inside line? He's not. But then again, Mellis isn't going to make a move for it. None of them really are here. Are we stuck in this draft scenario where they're all getting hit apart from the man at the front?
Well, that's the thing. I think they're all stuck behind it. But they've only got 1 lap to go, as we've got James Burrows crossing over the line now to start the last lap. Luke Maxwell, the knee fast of the race, so he's very much on the tail, and that's the battle we really want to be going to, James, because Maxwell could well send it on Barry after the Morian sweep.
Yeah, he's just coming down into turn 3. I'll pick him up very, very shortly. I just want to see if Mellis makes it around the outside of Mr. Williams. He doesn't. Williams goes on the defence there as well. Contact with Mellis and Jacqueline. Contact with Mellis and Jacqueline. And unfortunately, there's big old lumps of contact. We'll pick up back what happened there as well. Maxwell's going to try the outside line of James Barry. Is he going to be able to make it? Barry's got to give him room. He doesn't. He opens up the steering just a little bit. No room at the end. Jamie Bird finding himself in third place. David Rolliston in fourth. I'm going to have a look back and see what happened there, because a lot went on in that little bit of a section of the race circuit. And, whoa, there was contact behind as well. Paul Crabb and Graham Matthews come together. Stefan Mellis, Paul Crabb, they all had a little bit of a go here. So Mellis is on the brakes, checks everybody up. Crabb goes round. Mellis then goes round. He then gets hit into by Jacqueline. Jacqueline's coming back across the track and flying around all over the place. Bits of carbon fibre going everywhere. But for the final time in these first heat, Luke Maxwell now trying the outside line into Canada corner. Is he going to be able to get it this time around? He's not. What about the run out of turn 12, pressurising into turn 13? Now through the left-hander, Maxwell's still there. Don't forget, there is that long run up to the line, and Maxwell's got an opportunity if he could just carry a lot more speed through. Now this is going to be the run out now as well. Barry's trying to break the toe. Maxwell's set in. They've still got quite a little bit of a run up the hill to go, but I think it is going to be James Barry. It looks like Maxwell's backed away. James Barry takes the victory in race number 1 with Luke Maxwell. Jamie Bird manages to hang on from David Rolliston with Eric Harmon in behind that. Mike Buson in 6th place there. Rob Williams finds himself in a 7th, up 11 places. Ewan Bramer in behind that in 9th. Paolo Tempera just pipped top Josh Reed to the line. Liam Anderson comes over the line with no front end. George Gonzaga's carrying on. And Carl Jacquelette's car, well, that just looks very badly beaten, Tom.
Yeah, I think we may as well have a look at the replays of that accident, James, because all sorts of pandemonium was going on at that first turn involving multiple drivers. And this is Menno de Graaf we're looking at. He couldn't get out of the way, could he?
No,
he couldn't.
The problem is Mellis checked up. And once Mellis checked up, because he was already sliding. So what he basically did is he come round the corner. He was sliding off the outside. Then checking up. Look, that's where Paul Crabb tries to hit the brake. He's just in behind that. So he's already started going round. Mellis is slid, hit into Jacqueline. Menno de Graaf's got nowhere to go. Punches Mellis into the side there. And unfortunately, who was that just missed that? That was Ewan Bramer taking evasive action. You see bits of Carl Jacquelette's car going all over the place. There's Graham Matthews on top of Paul Crabb here. That's quite, well, that's a very interesting way of getting on there. And I'm wondering, though, Tom, whether or not he literally... No, he didn't have any say in that whatsoever.
No.
He went and skywards for Graham Matthews. So a lot of carnage there as Jacqueline is trying to limp that machine over the line.
Is he the last one over the line? I think he may well be.
There he is, last one over the line, so we'll be able to bring up the results from race number 1. There we go. Come on. Excuse me 2 seconds. Not willing to change over. There we go. There's the results from race number 1. James Barry is your winner. Luke Maxwell in 2nd. Jamie Bird in 3rd. And David Rolleston in 4th. With Eric Harmon 5th. Mike Busson, Rob Williams, Ewan Bramer, Paolo Tempera, Josh Reed, Leah Anderson, George Gonzaga, Carl Jacklett. And you've got Stefan Mellis, Mello de Graaf, Paul Crabb, Graham Matthews and John McHutchinson down in 18th place. Last place there for John. So we'll see how he gets on once more on that one. A lot of action taking place in race 1. Now we've got 45 minutes in race number 2.
Yeah, absolutely. The drivers are using the warm-up session to just get a little bit of practice in there, because a lot of them were being put off by that incident, and I'd imagine they'll have needed a few minutes just to cool down a little bit, because there's going to be a lot of angry faces, I'd have thought, because particularly those are the innocent bystanders, most particularly Graham Matthews.
Yeah, and I think, though, unfortunately for Mr. Matthews, he knows that there was nothing Paul Crabb could do. There was no way he was getting out of his way. You know, Paul was already heading sideways. He went in too fast. And unfortunately, there was a car in front of him as Paolo Tempera goes off the side of the circuit there as well. And there was just nowhere for Graham to go. What's he supposed to do on that one? He can't do nothing about it, can he?
No, I suppose not. We're looking at Paolo Tempera, who will be gunning for a strong result in the feature. And I don't know if we've seen too much of Tempera this season at the moment on screen, but there's going to be a lot of drivers who will be hoping for better in that second race. 45 minutes it will be. The top 10 are reversed from that first race you've just seen. So he will be on reverse grid pole. Just remind me.
It will be Mr. Josh Reed will be on pole with Paolo Tempera alongside him. Ewan Bramer, Rob Williams, then Mike Busson, Eric Harmon, David Rolleston, Jamie Bird, Luke Maxwell and James Barry. So very, very exciting front end all together there. This could be a very, very interesting one. I'll be looking forward to this and seeing how they get on.
Well, I am most certainly looking forward to it as well, because we've got so many out of position. James Barry 10th on the grid, Luke Maxwell 9th on the grid. Got John Hutchison down at the back. Got who else have you got that was running towards the top end? Hoikon Saga is at the back of the grid. They've got it all to do in the feature race, but they've got plenty of time to make it happen.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, there's 45 minutes with a pit stop. I don't think they should be struggling to make positions up here either, Tom. I think they should be able to make positions quite cleanly here. Whether or not Barry's going to be able to come through and take it, he is in behind Maxwell, so we'll see how that one pans out.
This is the high-speed circuit as well, James, so fuel consumption is going to be critical around this racetrack, and given that we've seen some drivers under fuel, we saw someone last week who was running in 4th place and then ended up slowing the last lap because he had run out of fuel and dropped to 8th.
Yeah, well, they start off with a set amount, right? It is the fixed setup, so they can generally go about 30 minutes. And then after that, it's all on them to get it right. And if they haven't got it right, well, that's what happens, unfortunately, Tom.
We'll see. And Jamie Bird, who ended that first race rather strongly. I think he ended up on the podium in that first race, did Jamie Bird.
Yep, 3rd.
He'll be gunning for a strong one in the feature race as well. So we'll hope to see that he can be in some form of contention. Maybe not at the end of the race, but in the early stages and start fighting it out with Bremer and Josh Reed. He'll be lucky to be where he is because he had that spin on the opening lap. And given all of the carnage that we saw in the final couple of laps, he's very fortunate to be where he is.
Yeah, but that's the thing, isn't it? He's got to be in it to be where he is. And if he's not there, then unfortunately, he's not going to be able to get the points. And Jamie Bird, keeping it on the racetrack, has done a great job. So fair play to him. And I look forward to seeing how he goes and gets on here. I'm wondering if he's got the pace to pick up a win. That would be great for Mr. Jamie Bird here as well, because, you know, it'd be good for his morale and good for his confidence if he can pick up a win here.
Well, James Burrows won both of the feature races so far. He'll be gunning for 3 wins out of 3 and doing so from 10th on the grid here. I'll let you run down on the grid, James, as we prepare for the feature race.
Yeah, Josh Reed is in first place. Paolo Tempera in second. Ewan Bramer in third. Rob Williams finds himself in fourth. Mike Boost on fifth. Eric Harmon in sixth. And David Rolliston and Jamie Bird. Luke Maxwell in ninth with James Barry in 10th there. Leo Anderson in 11th. And then George Gonzaga down in 12th with Carl Jacklett, Stefan Mellis, Menno de Graaf, Paul Crabb, Graham Matthews and John McHutchinson is at the back end. That's going to be a shock for the man from Scotland who is at the back end of the field. Let's see how he gets on, but we're going to focus on whether or not Josh Reed can get that car off the line. Lights are going to be coming on now. We're going to have very shortly 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 45 minutes. He is up and running, and it is a green. Josh Reed takes the whole shot currently. Ewan Braver sitting in second. Mike Busson in third. Paolo Tempera is in fourth. They're going in. Tempera gets over on Mike Busson. Busson's there as well. Busson's in the wall. He's coming back into the track. Yay. Mike Busson, full brake lock there, Tom, trying to come back in. Well, he didn't try, he didn't have no choice, but Josh Reed takes the whole shot with Ewan Bramer for the first run down the marine sweep now. Paolo Tempera sat in there and Eric Harmon in behind him. Great little battles, but it's Josh Reed, whole shot, leader into turn number 5.
How did Mike Busson not collect anyone as he rejoined back onto the circuit so dangerously? Unbelievable, everyone managed to avoid him, but Josh Reed's still in the lead ahead of Ewan Bramer. We've got Paolo Tempera in third place and Eric Harmon. Although Tempera has gone for a spin of his own. What a shame.
Yeah, just got hit by Leo Anderson there as well. He's sat there as Tempera. And unfortunately, it looks like Leo Anderson may have hit and taken his front wing off. But we'll see whether or not she's still got it. She has. Whether or not there's any damage on that car, though. Let's have a look as she goes round. Still looks like she's carrying speed with Mr. Williams in front, who unfortunately is down 3 places and now finds himself in 7th. But Ewan Bramer just about to make that move past Josh Reed. It is game over. Ewan Bramer takes the lead here as he's going to be leading the first lap. First down into Canada corner is Ewan Bramer. Josh Reed tucked in behind. Harmon's got Bird up behind that. Rolliston's got Maxwell, and Williams has got Anderson, who's then got Barry, Gonzaga, Graff and McHutchison, Jacqueline, Mellis and Graham Matthews, with Paul Crabb and Paolo Tempera a little bit further down. Mike Busson in the pits, of course. So a lot of action taking place here over the first lap, and we'll try and have a look back at that Mike Busson incident. We'll see if anybody's going to make a move down into turn number 1. It's likely to come from Mr. Bird. Is he going to be able to get Eric Harmon? I don't think he's going to be able to get him this time. James Barry is looking up the inside of Leo Anderson as they come down into turn 1. Barry on the left in the purple, black, yellow stripes machine does get Leo Anderson. And Menno de Graaf there as well. Everybody stays where they are. But this is what happened to Mike, and there was just a little bit of contact, wasn't there, from Tempera just there. He comes in, he's on the brakes, everybody misses him. Not one person hits Mike Busson there, and that is mightily impressive.
Yeah, that's great coordination work from all the drivers there, avoiding it. James Barry getting through on Rob Williams for 7th place. He's through by turn 5. The next driver ahead is his rival from race number 1, Luke Maxwell. He'll be going to pull away. We are looking at that battle with Rob Williams, with Leo Anderson, Gonzaga determined to get through from the back, as is John Hudson. So plenty of top runners to look out for during the feature race here tonight.
Yeah, Menno de Graaf looking up the inside of McHutchinson there as well. Didn't quite make it through. Since don't forget, this is still a 45-minute race. They've still got 45 minutes on the clock with a pit stop. They've got to make the pit stop. They would not make it on fuel. Ewan Bramer opening up about a second at the moment. Josh Reed in there with Eric Harmon and Mr. Bird. And Bird there. Did he get... No, he did manage to hold on. He's chasing down Eric Harmon here. So great job from Jamie Bird. And we'll see how he gets on for the rest of the 45.
Well, he's got a chance to make a send on both Eric Harmon and Josh Reed. Heading out of the last corner then, before they get to some, it's a long run up. And when you're going uphill like that, you get more of the effect of the slipstream due to the aerodynamics. And so he'll be using that to his advantage and making the move. Although Harmon is thinking about a move of his own, pulled out for a moment, had to tuck it back in before the right-hander.
Yeah, McHutchison here. Gonzaga's just gone and sent it, John! Never in a month of Sundays.
That was far too clumsy from John. He was too far back to make an effort there. He thought he saw an open door for the moment, but I think fraction of a second later, as soon as he realised, it was too late.
Oh, it was closing all day. All day it was closing. Josh Reed and Eric Harmon. Oh! Whoa!
Oh, absolute carnage at turn 5.
Wow!
And Maxwell's in there as well.
Yeah, Maxwell's in there. Rollo's in there. I think it started here, to be honest with you. No, there was already carnage up the front. That was Bird and Harmon. Was that Jamie Bird coming in like an absolute banshee? It was. He just gets 2 for 1. Harmon taps Bird. Then all of a sudden, everybody's broken up. Rollo was up in the air. Maxwell was up in the air. Harmon was in that as well. And everybody else makes it through. Look at that, bits of carbon flying off all over the place. It was like a radical SR8 sale on eBay. As these two drivers, none of them have got their noses now, Luke Maxwell or David Rolliston.
They can't be competing as quickly as they were without them, surely not. But somehow they're still going at it. But I can't imagine the performance of these two machines are going to be as good as what they were earlier.
Well, no, they were in one piece. I think the thing is for these two, it'd be easier now.
Yeah, he's struggling.
Yeah, he's got to get it into the pit lane. That's the thing. Get it into the pit lane and get it done there. Gonzaga's now with Williams. As these guys are fighting out, well, surely Gonzaga's going to make that move through. He's got to here. It's like he does get it done there.
Yeah, and Hudson through further back on. Menno de Graaf into 7th place, and Gonzaga making his way through past Rob Williams for 5th. James Barry through all the carnage in 4th place now, and he's got to be sensible at this point. There's no point sending it in the same way as what Jamie Bird did on the previous lap.
No, because, well, we've seen how it turns out, right? It doesn't turn out too well. So for James Barry, he's just got to use his use your noddle a little bit and make sure you don't do anything silly, because otherwise, well, you could be joining the rest of everybody else that unfortunately has had to take in their fast repair and get the car back for James Barry. So it's more just being able to close up on Josh Reed, see if he can get the overtake done cleanly. Reed opens up the door. I'm not quite sure why you would want to open up the door like that. You're not going to hold it round that outside line there. That's talking about giving the position there, unfortunately, Josh. I wouldn't have opened up the inside. You had him covered off on the inside on that one, and then you just left it open for him.
Probably because there's two things. One, because it's not his race, and also, if he stays in the slipstream with James Barry, that'll keep him away from those who he is racing with.
Yeah, but you've got to put a little bit of oomph in it, right? You're racing drivers.
Of course, but you can just see how quickly James Barry is pulling away from Josh Reed. I think Josh knows that if he starts fighting with James Barry, he's going to lose time battling with him anyway, as opposed to doing what he was just doing there on that lap.
Well, to be honest with you, if he keeps going over the curb like that, he's going to lose a bunch of time. Menno de Graaf tucked in behind Mr. Williams now. We'll see if he will close up there for Menno. Williams in front of us. He's going to go over the line. Does on that one for Rob. 2 minutes 8.76, but there was a lot of carnage in and around him. Doesn't look like that draft's very effective for Menno de Graaf. He's now got to get in a little bit closer and run down into turn 3. On the brakes he's going to go. Round he goes. Williams is getting a little bit of draft from McHutchinson in front of him. and that's probably saving him a little bit over Menno de Graaf.
Well, Menno de Graaf is on the tail of Rob Williams' full position, but there's no way he's going to send it from where he is that, and I don't think he's that daft anyway to pull off a manoeuvre like that. So he sensibly sits back and waits behind Rob Williams for now. Ahead of him is John Hutchinson, who was very lucky to still be in this race after contact with Leah Anderson earlier, which so easily could have put him out, just as it did so in the sprint race not too long ago. We've got a battle going on further behind. This is for Carl Jacquelet, Stefan Millis and Paul Krug for P9.
Yeah, Krab's trying to go round the outside of Millis there. Just about get that done, I think. And Paul Krab has made his way through on Stefan Millis, but a great little battle they are having. Williams and de Graaf are still having the same battle here, and it just doesn't look like de Graaf's going to get through. Where is Williams going to park his car? He's going to take the inside. He should have come across there. You're going to leave the inside line for Menno to try and get in. Williams is going to try and go around the outside. Nope. Not this time. Menno de Graaf takes that position away. Stefan Millis still sat in behind Krab and Carl Jacquelet. So nice little battle throughout the field. But at the moment, Ewan Bramer here, Tom, doing an absolutely barnstorming race, out in front by 4.4 seconds.
Yeah, and crucially, he's over 5 seconds clear over James Barry, who's putting a new fastest lap of the race. And Bramer can't sit back too much, because you don't want to give the toe to the other drivers behind, but it's all looking very, very good for him.
Yeah, it is, and I think that's the thing for Ewan Bramer. He's just got to make sure he can hit his braking points to get the job done for the Sim Race Sweden boys here, as he's sitting at the front end. Be a nice haul of points for Ewan Bramer, and a great job from him, so fair play to him. Carl Jacquelet, on the other hand, is in a little bit under the cosh here, as he's got Paul Krab nestled right up behind him.
Right, is Paul Krab going to be sensible with his overtaking here? This is as close as you need to be for turn 5, so I would say Paul Krab is going to get through here, maybe even before the corner. It's just whether Carl Jacquelet is willing to yield, and he does yield this time around. Yeah,
he does gives him. There was a little bit of side-by-side rubbing on the way down for Jacquelet and Paul Krab. They were a little bit leaning on each other going into 5. Who wanted the exit? It was Paul Krab who got it, and he is now finds himself up in 9th place for Paul Krab. So a great job from them. Eric Harman, Power Tempera and Mike Bruce is unfortunately out. We saw what happened to Mike. He went shooting into the barrier after contact with Tempera into turn 1, and that put Mike well and truly in the wall. Unfortunately for him, not a good look whatsoever, but Bird has now got Barry closing in on him.
Yeah, so Barry needs to get on with this and go after Bremer once it gets by Jamie Bird, which he should do it on the pit straight here. So they come around to complete their 6th lap, and Barry will be into the system. As Bird goes wide, that should be very easy for Barry to go through here. And yeah, that was a very bad mistake there by Bird by his standards.
Yeah, but if Bird's got any sense, he'll just slot him behind him. There you go. Slot him behind him and use him for a little bit of a draft here. Although the draft is strong in the SR8s, it doesn't look like it's too strong. Bird's got to almost be within 2.5 tenths of James Barry to really make this draft work. Let's have a look and see how close he gets coming out of turn 3. He's about 3 tenths back. Now, normally, you would put your money on that there's going to be a strong draft, but you can see it's not really closing down. Just about gets him under 2.5 now. It starts coming down a little bit rapidly. So he's got to be within 2.5 going on to the Marine Sweep to really make that draft work over Barry. And for Bird, he's just got to be smoother. Just keep him under pressure. He's only human. They make mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes. Even James Barry makes mistakes.
Yeah, we've seen it from James Barry, but James Barry is a quality driver when it comes to racing in radicals. And Bird will know that too well. And he's got, I don't know how long James Bird has been around racing within radicals, but I do feel he's got a lot to learn from James Barry when it comes to, how to race strategically. So not in terms of pace, but strategically, how do you fight in feature races as long as this one?
Well, Jamie Bird's been around a while. Let's put that into perspective, considering his iRacing ID he's 38,960 a person. Now, if you put that in conjunction with what the numbers they're on now, they're well over 6 digits. In fact, they're in 7-digit numbers, I believe, now, your ID. So, Jamie Bird's been in sim racing and in iRacing a long while. He drove the SR8 well before the SR10 come out. He kind of knows what he's doing, so I'm interested to see how he plays this one. Just, it's like anything, right? I've been around iRacing for 3 years, but I'm still not as quick as my son, who's only been doing it for 6 months.
John Hodgson's posted a new fastest up of the race in the background. He's through on Jorge Gonzaga into 5th position. And the next driver ahead of him is Josh Reed, who's done well, to be fair, to stay in touch with James Barry and Jamie Bird. And it's not going to be too long before John Hodgson gets on the tail of him.
No, definitely not here. John's going to start making his way forward. Jamie Bird, you can see in front. Williams and De Graaf still having a nice little ding-dong further down. Williams just not close enough into Menno De Graaf at this moment in time. Not really opening up turn 5 like some of the others are. And unfortunately loses a little bit of time to Menno during that turn 5, turn 6 under the Corvette Bridge complex. Coming into the right-hander of turn 7. Be running down into 8. He's just lost, well, quite a lot of time, unfortunately, for Rob Williams. It's just clearly that sector is not his favourite here, Tom, because he lost about 3/10 on that bit.
Well, it's got quite a bit to do at the moment. I mean, we're looking at Rob Williams, who is dropping back a little bit from Menno De Graaf, who's got through on him. This is James Barry now, who is less than 5 seconds off Ivan Bremer. And I think it's going to come down to pit strategy here to see who decides to do what and when they decide to pit in.
Yeah, McHutchinson now trying to look at the inside of Mr. Josh Reed. Both of the Scotsmen. We've got William Wallace in their blood, and McHutchinson comes out and is the winner out of that one. So McHutchinson there, the battle of the Scots, and it was McHutchinson your winner. What about Gonzaga? Is he going to be able to get through over Josh Reed, who is sat there at this moment in time? There is the insert namely Racing Boys car of Mr. Gonzaga behind him, coming into turn 1. He's not really close enough. Again, 2.5 temps. He's only just broken the barrier. That's why all of a sudden that speed picked up there, and it seems to be the broken barrier of 2.5 temps. If you're any further back than that, you're just not getting the draft effectively as you would normally.
Well, Gonzaga's got a chance to get through on Josh Reed. Reed didn't really fight it with Matt Hudson when he went wide at Canada Corner, and Matt Hudson knew that he couldn't do a repeat of what he had in the sprint race with Jorge Gonzaga, and Gonzaga trying to find a way through on Josh Reed. Does Reed defend nicely? He does. He gets through the corner very, very sweetly as well, which makes it even more frustrating for Gonzaga, who's having to sit in behind. Yeah,
Gonzaga's just had to sit there and not be able to get through. Unfortunately, Reed carried a little bit more pace through turn 5, up into 6 and through 7. Gonzaga doing what he can, but the only thing he can do is sit in behind him, because there's nothing else he is able to do. You don't want to sit right under the nose. We've seen this already. And unfortunately, a couple of people, Mr. Paul Crabb, jettisoned their car around. So Gonzaga's got to be a little bit careful. In through the kink they go now. Gonzaga in the black, red and yellow. Reed in the blue in front of him. Gonzaga's going to pull out, looking for the inside line. Topping north of 158 miles an hour. There goes Gonzaga. Is he going to get it stopped? He does get it stopped. He comes a long way back. George Gonzaga getting his elbows out there, Tom, and makes a move past Josh Reed.
Yeah, he had to really fight as well and just outbrake Reed into the corner of Canada. And so he is through and up into 5th position. We've got pit stops happening and Jamie Bird is in.
Yeah, Jamie Bird will be the first man out of 4th place to make that pit stop. So we'll see how Bird gets on. He's still got about 20, what have we got at the moment? 20 minutes, give or take, 27 minutes, I believe, left of this race. So he's well within the window of being able to fill up right to the end. Gonzaga has now got Reed in behind him. Is Reed going to be able to pressurize Gonzaga? He's 3.5 temps back. Watch this. This is a very unusual precedent here, that the draft isn't effective till about Now he starts closing in, now it starts coming down, but it just does not come down enough unless you are literally under the rear end of the car in front coming around turn 3. You cannot make that move down into turn 5. Gonzaga, though, finds himself up 8 places in 4th. McHutchinson up 15 places in the 3rd. James Barry up 8. While Ewan Bramer is up 2 and is leading the race by 4.8 seconds. But Bird, the first at the pit stops there, he comes back out in 12th place. So not right at the back, but he's got a nice little bit of clean air in and around him for Jamie Bird.
Yeah, and he needs to use it to his advantage to just, put in some fast laps and give a bit of a fight to James Berry and John Hudson for a podium position and come away with 2 podiums this evening at Road America. Bramer able to manage the gap right now, 4.6 seconds as we are looking. But he needs to think about when he's going to decide to pit in. Jamie Bird came out with some clean air when he came out, but given the gap that Bramer had over Bird, he might not get the same luxury.
Yeah, I think for Ewan Bramer, if he's sensible, so we'll give you a rough idea. We can give you a rough idea of where he would be if he came out right now for Ewan Bramer. It would be just in front of Kyle Jacklett. You can see the P on the track map. That's give or take 100 yards. That is a rough estimate. So even if Jacklett got past Bramer now, he would still be in clean air because everybody in front of him has got 2 pits. So it's maybe not much of a hardship for Ewan Bramer if he goes into the pits. He might find himself out in clean air there.
Yeah, he hasn't got any back markers that he needs to negotiate. Matt Hodgson is leaving the pits now. He's got Graham Matthews going through, but he's crucially ahead of Jamie Bird. Or is he?
This is going to be definitely close here. Bird's going to see him. There's McHutchison.
He's done it.
Oh, he did do it. Yep, he did do it, but it was quite probably closer than what he thought there. And Gonzaga and Reed are still having their own little bit of a fight, bless them.
Yeah, well, Gonzaga just needs to pull away from Reed now and start thinking about how he's going to go about getting a podium out of this one, because with the way things are going, it looks like it's going to be between Bramer, Barry, Hudson, Bird and Gonzaga.
Yeah, we'll see if Reed can make it. Is he going to try a little bit of an undercut? Is he going to try an overcut? Everybody's thinking about their pit stops. And who's going to come in, go where and do what? It's going to be interesting to see. This is why this 45-minute race is so interesting, because you do get to see them figure out what they're going to do in the pits. But Hutchinson obviously spotted a gap. They got in, he got the pit stop done and got out, more importantly, in front of this man. But now they've got to kind of go together because everybody in front of them's got a pit and they need to be picking up them places, because the pit lane time for Bird was 57 seconds with a 16-second stop. And McHutchison was a 53 seconds with just shy of a 15-second stop. So McHutchison clearly a lot quicker in the pit lane than Jamie Bird, and I'm hoping it's something that people have practiced.
Yeah, well, Hudson will have practiced that time and time again to ensure that, every 10th of a second could make all the difference, and he knows that. And so I think that was well practiced as well, because had he not practiced that, he probably would not have got out in front of Jamie Bird, given instead one that longer than Bird, which you may not think it made a huge difference, but on that occasion it did.
Yeah, absolutely. It did make a massive difference there. McHutchison had to get out. This fight-in between Gonzaga and Reed is bringing McHutchison right into play. It's 38 seconds at the moment back from these guys, so he's in and around that mark. What is McHutchison's gap to the leader? 48. That's going to be very, very close on the pit lane entry and exit for Ewan Bramer, so he's got to look at going in as soon as possible, I would have thought, to try and nullify that gap. He can't afford to lose any more.
Well, I think Bramer needs to decide when it's going to come in, because if you're saying that, what was the pit window that you need, or the gap that you need for a pit stop round?
Well, roughly the pit lane times between 53 and 57 seconds. But the problem is obviously you've got to think a lot of that they're rolling and then they're only stopping for 16. So I would love to say that Bramer is 48 seconds in front of McCutcheon and is going to lose the lead. But I can guarantee there's probably a 3 to 4 second deficit on what my timing tower says compared to what actually will happen.
Well, I'd have thought, Bremen, if he's thinking about staying out longer, he should have a shorter pit stop anyway, which could well make all the difference. And he's got clear track ahead of him. You know, he's not stuck behind back markers as we speak. He's going through turn 3 now. He's got James Berry staying with him, but he's not reducing the gap.
Well, 21 minutes remaining for these guys. And on lap 13, and we've still got Josh Reed and Gonzaga. Everybody's kind of waiting for the pit stop window to get everybody in front, because at the moment McCutcheon's the first man who has pitted. And you can see that there he pitted on lap 10 with Bird on 9. Everybody else behind Anderson, Rollison and Maxwell were all involved in their own little ta-ta-tas. And a big ta-ta-ta it was as well, mind you. So everybody in front of McCutcheon has not pitted, which basically means he has got to take all of them cars to make sure he moves himself up. And that's going to be an interesting situation altogether.
Well, Hutchinson's 5 seconds off Graham Matthews as he closes down on him. So he's still got a bit of time before he catches up and making some fast laps. He knows his way around this course anyway, does Mick Hutchinson. He's very good around this course. And he will just want to put all the mistakes he's had earlier on behind him. You know, the one with Gonzaga in race 1 and the Lee Anderson. Oh, you could just see the way he jumped. Did you see that? The way he jumped over the curb on the exit.
Yeah, he's definitely putting the effort in, is Mr. McHutchinson. So that's great to see. But I'll be interested to see if he can hold on and get as far up as he can. I don't really want to predict where he would come out at this moment in time. I'm looking. I want to say 3rd to 4th, but it wouldn't surprise me if he came out in 2nd or McHutchison gained a 2nd place, to be honest with you.
We're looking at we're not looking at Paul Crabb at the moment, but he's still on the tail of Rob Williams in the fight for 6th position. Paul Crabb, who won the sprint in Road Atlanta last week, has had a very, very rocky ride of it tonight, but at least he's still going in the feature race as Hutchinson crosses over the line. Will this be his best lap of the race so far? Because he's taken well over, something like a second and a half out of Matthew's lead, and he did get a new fastest lap of the race.
Yeah, fastest lap there for John McHutchison, 57.92. Don't forget, they do get a bonus point for pole position. They get a bonus point for the fastest lap in race 1, and they get a bonus point for the fastest lap in race number 2. Paul Crabb cleared Williams, but that is only because Rob did that.
Yeah. Oh my. Yeah. Well reacted there, did Paul Crabb, and Rob Williams did very well to just stay out of the way in that moment and carried on as he was doing.
Yeah, he's now got an opportunity to sit back and think, maybe I need to go into the pits there. I've just smoked the absolute living hell out of my tyres. And he's got to either look at going into the pits, because he has not pitted yet either. And he did manage to stay in front of Carl Jacklett. So it just goes to show how spread out that top section was from the bottom half, because Williams spun, he got going again, and he's still 6 seconds ahead of Carl Jacklett. So it could be a great top 10 for Mr. Williams this evening.
Yeah, Josh Reed is in the pits now, for your information. We've seen the leaders posting their personal best ups of the race. Barry into the 1:57s. Josh Reed into the pits from what was 4th position. He was behind Gonzaga before he came in. And we don't expect him to rejoin out in front of Hudson or Bird. He'll probably rejoin ahead of Leah Anderson. And there is Reed, who I don't think has stopped in his box yet.
No, he hasn't. He's still running. Told you, it's a long run down this pit lane. A long run down. There you go, straight in he goes, and Mellis is going to lose a position. McHutchinson's going to get Reed. Don't think Reed's even going to get anywhere near him. It would be a good telltale sign to know how far back Reed is in conjunction. And let's have a look when it settles down. 9-10 seconds back from John McHutchison. And you saw how long the run into Road Atlanta was. It's so, Road America, sorry. It's so long and it's so slow. You feel like you've had it for ages.
Yeah. It's almost like you feel like you've done your pit stop yet, although you haven't done it yet. But now we're approaching the 30-minute mark. If your fixed fuel setting is to be believed, James, then we should expect to see all of the top 8 probably coming in on the same lap, but I doubt that's going to be the case.
Well, I can tell you now, they are on fixed fuel, and they do last roughly round about 30 to 35 minutes. They do an official time zone, and that's a 30-minute give or take race. So it'd be, they all are. We should be looking at coming in. Graham Matthews is going to clear himself out the way. This is not his fight. Well done, Graham, on that one. Don't get me wrong, it would have been nice to see you have a little bit of a ding-dong, Mr. Matthews, but even you've said it's just not your fight. We've got Graham Matthews on 1.3k, John McHutchison 7k I rating, so a massive difference between all of these, and he's done a great job laying McHutchison through. Matthews in the top 10, so really no need for him to jeopardise his top 10. I would probably say go into the pit lane though, and get that chain, get your pit stop done. There you go, in he goes.
Yep, he's heading in now is Graham, and he'll be hoping for just a finish in the top 10 maybe, if he's lucky. We've had drivers who have had to come in for repairs earlier, so I don't know whether they will decide to pit in again before this race is over. Hopefully they shouldn't have to.
It's going to be very close.
Yeah.
I can tell you now it will be very close, whether or not they've got to go in again. Leo Anderson, David Rollison, not Stefan Mellis. He shouldn't have to. Luke Maxwell might have to as well. But I don't think Stefan Mellis is. It's going to be very, very close. So it really is about the climb of this man. It's about the climb of Mr. McHutchison and how far he's going to get in and get up. Roughly, we said about 10 seconds with Jamie Bird. That has more settled down to about 7 seconds now. So that's how much of an overhang he had. Bird's lap pit lane time was 57.3, but again, you take it with a general pinch of salt on whether or not, because at the moment there's a 48-second gap. So technically, if you take it like that from McHutchison over Bramer, you could just say McHutchison's going to be out in front by about 7 seconds. But obviously, taking in consideration the shorter pit stop from Bramer, the lower fuel intake, he's not going to be sat there as long as he doesn't get a speeding in the pit lane or anything like that for E1 Bramer. He should still come out in front. It will just be how close does John McHutchison get, I think.
Well, he's getting the hammer down now, and we've got Menno de Graaf in the pits, and he's had a relatively good race, this Menno de Graaf. We'll see where he comes out. He's most certainly not going to get out in front of John McHutchison. We'll see. He's not going to go in front of Jamie. Well, McHutchison's just leaving Jamie Bird for dead now, isn't he? If you look at the gap, it's like over 7 seconds. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It has gone up. Menno's in. Menno's stopped. What sort of stop is Menno going to do? He should be around about 14 seconds. It is 14.9. He's still going to be trundling. Bird's going to be coming down. There is Menno. There is Jamie Bird. Bird's going to make it through over Menno de Graaf just. What about Josh Reed? He is not going to make it over Menno de Graaf. So Menno up 6 places, sitting in 9th. But a great job from him here, staying ahead of Josh Reed, who's down 9 places. Now, Josh, obviously, down 9, he's in 10th. He was on the front row. So, unfortunately for Josh Reed, didn't go quite to plan.
Yeah, there's still a few drivers yet to pit. I would expect Crabb, Williams and Shacklet to fall behind Josh Reed. So, if that was to be the case, he'd be P7. But yeah, I don't think his race pace has been there today, as Josh Reed has it.
No. No, it's not. And, you know, for Reed and it's not been the greatest race number 2 as Rollo and Anderson are battling out. Rollo's just gone and sent it on Leo Anderson and makes way through. So Rollison finds himself now up into 11th. Ewan Bramer and James Barry, both of them in the pit lane together. So there are your leaders. Gonzaga's in as well. So Bramer not stopped. Barry's not stopped. Gonzaga's not stopped. Crab's come in here. Williams is going to come in. I'd expect Carl Jackalett to peel off and come in very, very shortly. There he is. He's coming in. So now we pick up on the man that could make the dent. How close is this going to be for John McCutcheon? These guys are on their way out. They're crawling. Bramer's out. What about Barry? McCutcheon's going to be coming into your picture like an absolute banshee. There he is. He's got Gonzaga. It's 3rd place for John McCutcheon. Didn't quite get over James Barry, and he definitely did not get over on Ewan Bramer, who's still out in front.
Now, did both of them put in the right amount of fuel? They should do, but we've seen from the last couple of weeks there's been at least someone that has underfueled.
Well, can't answer that question, unfortunately. We don't get access to their pit telemetry, so I can't answer that. But Ewan Bramer still out in front, and now this is where the battles kind of heat up. Gonzaga's got Bird closing in on him. Crab's got Reed. Rollo's got Anderson. So a lot of people coming out in and around. A nice little battle to round the end this off for the last 10 minutes.
Well, Paul Crab did very well, Reed, as did Menno de Graaf. So Josh Reed losing out again. So my prediction of him being where he was going to end up after the pit stops was incorrect. He ended up in P8 and not P7. And so Josh Reed will just want to get this race over and done with now and just collect the points he can get.
Yeah, keep as many points on the board as you physically can there for Josh Reed, because that's what he really wants to do. Looking back from Gonzaga to Bird. Bird in behind that. Still, this is the battle for 5th place. Bird up 3. Gonzaga up 8. So this could be a nice little interesting little bit of a ding-dong as they're continuing to have a bit of a scrap. You see him there on the left-hand side. McCutcheon up 15 places. Bird's close right in now. And it's going to be a battle for Gonzaga to hold on. I think Bird's looking very quick here this evening.
He is. He's looking feisty now on this second stint at last. And he could well be within range to have a go on Jorge Gonzaga. It's probably too far back to do it here at turn number 1. Even if he was to pull out the slipstream, it's going to be too late before they get to the corner. So it may well be into turn 5 where he gets the job done at.
Yeah, he's got to stay close. Carries a lot more speed through than Gonzaga. He didn't really have a choice. Then the inside line opened up and he covers Gonzaga off. Gonzaga's now going to have that line and he's going to settle it in. Is he just about in behind him? Is not. It's a straight drag race down the Marine Sweep. Bird is on the right hand front with a JPB on his nose there. That's his son's initials. Gonzaga with a JPB logo. That's my logo on the front of his car there as well. So, and Bird does make it through. Gonzaga comes back on the run up under Corvette Bridge into turn 6. He's going to have the inside line. Here's Gonzaga. They're going to be side by side through to turn 7. George. He rescinded that fight. He almost chucked the flag in at that. He chucked the towel in at that point, Mr. Gonzaga.
Yeah. Well, he's got the carousel to go through, and he'll need a strong exit out of there to have a strong run into Canada. He's too far back now, and it's almost like he's handed the position to Bird, but we'll see what Gonzaga has got in response.
No, it doesn't look like there's a lot coming back from Gonzaga. However, there's a lot coming up Menno de Graaf, and it's in the form of an Irishman, Paul Crab, last week's winner in race number 1. Crab's now looking around the outside of Menno, going down into Canada corner. Crab's going to have that in that Jaguar liveried SR10. Menno behind in the red, white and blue there. And Menno does lose that position to Paul Crab. But now he's got Josh Reed coming at him as well. Menno's never kind of not in that, he's not in that fight, is he? He's always in a fight, is poor old Menno. And he's got Crab now and Reed in behind him.
Well, Menno de Graaf has had some form of connection issue, unless he's just gone back in to the event. We're not seeing
He's there.
de Graaf. He's there, yeah. I wonder if he had a connection issue or something, and he's fallen behind Josh Reed.
I can't, there's no point me trying to show you how he got overtaken, because it'll just disappear on me, and I don't want him to have an effect, and because when they start to disappear, it does cause me a little bit of a problem if I do flick on them, and they have been known to crash iRacing, so I'd rather not on that one. But Bird again, Gonzaga down the Marine Sweep, coming into the final 5 minutes. And your leader, Mr. Miles Owens, is your boy, Ewan Bramer, out in front. And he's on his way round the carousel. He's got 2.8 seconds over Barry. He's got 2.8 seconds over McHutchinson. These guys have got 10 seconds on Bird and Gonzaga. They've got another 3 seconds over on Crab and Reed, who's got 2 seconds over Menno. Rollo has then got Leah Anderson, Carl Jacklett and Robert Williams there. Williams down 12 places from 4th on the grid, let's not forget. And obviously coming pitted later on. He pitted on lap 17. And it looks like he's taken tyres because he did a 1:08, and he's the only man in the 1 minute pit stops.
Well, we've got 5 minutes to go. We've got Bremer, who's going to be going over the line in a moment. And we'll have 3 more laps of racing. And James Barry looks content to finish second by the looks of things, but that tells you about how brilliant Ivan Bremer has been today.
Yeah, he's done a great job. Ivan Bremer, he's drove out of his skin. McHutchinson with the fastest lap on a race over 1:57. So great job from him. But yeah, Ivan Bremer doing exceptional. 2.8 out in front. He's managing the gap as well. He's going to have about another 2.5 laps to go, give or take, round about their lap time if he drops it down into the 1:59s. But yeah, Iwan Bremer doing a absolutely tremendous job.
Who's Bird holding off Gonzaga as they head through turn number 3 for the 21st time in this race. Hutchinson posting a new fastest lap on the last tour, and he's not able to reduce the gap drastically enough on James Barry. So it's like Hutchinson is going to fall short of his arch rival in this championship once again. And Gonzaga locks up and goes too deep into turn 5, and that is the end of that battle. I'm pretty sure of it.
Yeah, the scrap is finished. The towel is in. The man is down. Unfortunately for Gonzaga, it is, unless he pulls out something exceptional out of the bag. You can see John McHutchinson, fastest lap of the race at this moment in time. Don't forget they get a point for the fastest lap. So although McHutchinson is behind on Barry in this race, he will still score the same points. Barry will get 35 for being in second. McHutchinson will get 34, but then he'll get the 1 bonus point. So he'll get 35 there. Obviously Barry outscoring McHutchinson in race number 1 by a considerable margin. So there will be some points lost to Barry from McHutchinson, but he's done what he needed to do this time around, Tom, and literally got himself up into 3rd from all the way back on the grid.
So he's done a tremendous job throughout this race as John Hutchinson up from the back, the Scotsman who will need to do better next week to close down the margin over James Barry in the standings in the coming races. To remind you of where we'll be racing at after this one, we'll head to Monza to close out September. Then we've got Spa, Bathurst, Brands Hatch, Imola in October, and then we've got 2 rounds to go in Knockhill in Scotland. And on November the 11th is the Nordschleife, which will just be the one event, which will be 60 minutes long.
Yeah, 60 minutes mini enduro for these guys at Nords. I can tell you now, John McHutchinson won't be here next week. He's already let me know on that one. So John's not going to be here next week. And that will be one of his drop weeks. So for their guys, they get 2 drop rounds over the season. So their 8 best scores will stand. And for John, that will be one of his drop weeks. Unfortunately, it will be a 0 drop score, which is never good, as you could end up losing quite a lot of time to the guys in and around. But Menno is now pressurising Josh here, doing a great job. Ewan Bramer's going to go over the line. There's going to be one more, but Josh has made a mistake. Josh made a mistake. Menno went through, said, thank you very much. You run wide, Sunshine, and I'll have that position away. Great job from Menno. Just pressured Josh all the time, and then Josh makes a mistake. Menno gets through.
Yeah, it was a poor mistake from Josh. Just went in a little too deep. He had all the pressure soaked up on him, and he got the better of him on that occasion at a really poor time. And so 7th place going back in the way of Menno de Graaf as we watch Ewan Bremer going round to start his final tour.
Yeah, 3 minutes on the clock for Ewan Bremer. Final lap of the race. So John McCutcheon 1.8 seconds back from Barry. Bird is opened up a second over Gonzaga. Crab's in a little bit of no man's land. Menno de Graaf's in no man's land. Josh Reed's in no man's land. And David Rolliston and Leah Anderson are very close and have been for quite a while. Carl Jacklett driving around on his Todd, being closed down by Wister Williams 2.8 seconds back from that. Mellis is still running in 13th. Luke Maxwell still running in 14th. And Graham Matthews, he is still there, still running in 15th, but having a bit of a blink. So we'll keep an eye on Alido. He's just coming up through turn 7, the right-hander at this moment in time for Ewan Bremer. And it looks like he's going to take this victory here, and he's going to do it in emphatic style by about 3 seconds. So great job from Ewan Bremer. You can't argue he hasn't done a great job here this evening.
Yeah, he's done superb. He's made no mistakes throughout tonight at all. Certainly not in the feature race for the Dutchman. And this victory was well and truly merited from start to finish. 3rd on the grid, took advantage of the mistakes of others at the start, and he just took the lead and ran with it.
Yeah, he definitely did. And he's done an absolutely incredible job, so fair play. Driver of the day? I don't know, Miles, on that one. I can't say yes on that because obviously we've got McHutchison up 15 from the back. Maybe I'll do a vote next time, Miles, next week for you. But Ewan Bremer is going to come over the line. He's going to take the victory in the feature. There he goes. Great job from Ewan Bremer. James Barry coming over in 2nd. McHutchison in 3rd. Bird and Gonzaga are not very far apart. McHutchison locks the fastest lap of the race. Does a great job there. But is Gonzaga? No, he's not. Bird is going to hang on just about there. So a great little bit of a run up to the line from them guys. Nice little bit of action there. And then further back, we've got Leon Anderson and David Rolliston. I think Rolliston's going to hang on. Anderson pulling out, just sort of saying to Rollo, I'm not really going to go anywhere. Carl Jackelet's going to come over the line in 11th place. But can you name me one Bremer as driver of the day, especially when McHutchison from the back of the grid took 3rd?
I mean, it's hard to look past Bremer, in all honesty. McHutchison, it's kind of expected that he was going to make his way through the field. But Bremer, in terms of the way he's been able to manage the gaps, especially you've got 2 top drivers of James Berry and John McHutchison closing him down, Bremer would be my driver of the day.
Okay. Graham Matthews going to come over the line there as well. So great job from all of these drivers. An exceptional run once more. And here are the results from race number 2. Ewan Bremer, your victor. James Barry in 2nd. John McHutchison in 3rd. Jamie Bird in 4th. He's actually such a good season in the SR8 as Bird. Podium in race 1. 4th in race 2. A stellar job. Gonzaga in 5th. Paul Crabb in 6th. Menno de Graaf in 7th. He was up 8 places. Josh Reed in 8th. David Rolliston 9th. Leo Anderson in 10th. Carl Jacklett down in 11th with Rob Williams in 12th. Then you got Luke Maxwell, Stefan Mellis, Graham Matthews, Out was Eric Harmon, Mike Buson, and Paolo Tempera, but we kind of saw what happened to them. It was kind of expected on that one. We'll give the drivers a couple of minutes to see if anybody's going to be jumping into the booth and drop us a little bit of an interview. I will give them a little bit of a bump to see if they are going to have a chat. But great race in there as well. I think it wasn't the best racing as some of the short tracks deliver, but the longer circuit didn't disappoint as such.
No, this circuit didn't disappoint. I mean, we saw all the carnage, which I think had taken away some of the action which we would have been seeing. Because had it not been for that, James, I think we'd have seen a lot more wheel-to-wheel racing, even throughout the feature race where drivers were doing different strategies to others.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing. And now we are going to pull in your race winner. One, Mr. Iwan Bremer is going to come and have a chat with us here, taking the victory in the feature race. And I have not spoken to this young man for absolutely ages, and I get the pleasure of having a chat with him, so that's absolutely amazing for me. Mr. Iwan Bremer, welcome in.
Thank you. How you doing, man?
I'm very well, dude. How are you?
I enjoyed the second race. Enjoying the Radical SR8 in general, by the way.
Let's have a quick chat about the first one.
Oh no, please. Oh, I don't know what happened. I was looking at, I don't know who was in P3 just before the braking zone. I was looking at him, and of course I missed mine. I cannot say sorry enough to John.
Yeah, I think it was John and Jamie Bird, and then there was a lot of people winning, and but we won't talk about it, will we?
Oh yeah, the rest was history.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
But
gibberish. Yep.
Listen, you recovered back to 7th, started 3rd on the grid, or 8th it was, started 3rd on the grid, and then you kind of dominated the feature.
Yeah, that was good.
Ewan, I do love you, too. So you have so little words for me. Yeah, it was good. Come on.
That was good fun. But it was a lonely race. I was expecting the guys to catch up way quicker.
But is that just you not being fast?
The past, I haven't been that quick as this. Keep up with big boys, as we say.
Well, you're going to Monza next week. Now, normally in officials, you would start at the back, right? Because turn 1 and everybody would crash out. But that's not going to be the case here, is it? You're going to survive Monza.
Monza, it's without the chicane?
No, I'm not. I am not that nice.
I'm going to hope to be as lucky as this week and be up to pace as this week.
Well, anyone, absolutely amazing job for you there, sir. Anyone you want to shout out before we let you go?
Of course, everybody racing, you guys, and the old boys in the team.
Awesome stuff. Iwan, thank you very much, sir, and have a good one.
Thanks for having me. See you next time.
Take care, man. Right, and next up is the Scotsman himself. He was in a little bit of drama this evening. Race 1, as I said, Iwan Bremer has just said he apologised to John for sending it in and trying to get 2 for 1, but I think by his standards, he would say he got himself caught up in things he didn't really need to be caught up in, and sticking that Scottish front nose cone there at places it shouldn't have gone. Mr. John McHutchison still gained 15 places in race number 2, though, finished on the podium, so that's a highlight. John, welcome in, bud.
Hello, James.
Hello, mate. I couldn't resist, John. Come on. It was like a roller coaster.
There was a few sweary words tonight.
I can imagine.
I've got rid of them all, so you're safe.
Well, that was good. Quite an action-packed night for you.
Yeah, kicked about there tonight. Fill it to post, I guess, but yeah, that's racing, isn't it?
Yeah, it was, and you did kind of have your nose up at the wrong places at times, John.
Well, he should have took the racing line. I don't know why he was on the inside and then brake. I spoke to him about it, but I just need to stay. When I get behind him from now on, I'll Just need to watch.
I need to be a little bit careful. Now, listen, rumour has it you're not here next week.
No, I'm off to Krakow on Friday.
Nice. For any particular reason?
That's a stag do.
Oh, okay. So you'll be in no fit state there then.
I might not make it next week either.
Well, John, listen, let's see how you get on. But you climbed 15 places, so I suppose that's your silver lining for race number 2.
Yeah, second race was okay. A bit of carnage in that as well. You know, everyone was crashing out in front of me and giving me free positions. And then I got up the inside of someone and she turned in on me and gave me some damage. So I was slow if I wasn't in draft. You know, I was okay in draft, but once I lost the draft, I was slow on the straight. So I had to pit early. But all in all, happy with that.
Good. Well, John, it's a pleasure to talk to you as always, dear sir. Anyone you want to shout out before we let you go?
A shout out to the Redline boys. I think there was a few of us involved with each other tonight.
Yeah.
Need to have a word with them.
Yeah. Mike, unfortunately, had an argument with a wall, so you can't really have a go at him.
I need to get the big whip out, but they boys might like it, so.
Yeah, exactly. Well, so listen, it's always a pleasure, and I will catch up with you next Monday. Are you going to be here? No, you're not here next Monday. No, the following. No. I don't see you on Thursdays now, do I? So it'll be the following Monday.
Following Monday, yes.
All right, man. Have a good one, bud.
All right, James.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
And now we have been joined very late on here, mind you, from Mr. James Bowie. He took a win in race number 1 and a second in race number 2. James, welcome in, bud. How are you?
Hi, yeah, good, thanks. I was just in 2 minds if I should come because the second race there wasn't much to talk about, really.
No, it was very. I think that the problem is with that is that kind of what makes you as a racing driver, being able to hold your concentration levels, even though you are driving around on your own almost as such, James.
Yeah, to an extent. I certainly had things going through my head. I was, listening to, had like music playing in my head because that keeps me ticking over, I guess. And just thinking, I just got to hit my best laps because I know John's coming behind me and I wanted to catch Ivan, but he was on it as well. So there was not much I could do.
Yeah, he once said he basically didn't know where that pace come from tonight. So, hey, look, I think he was as surprised, as probably the rest of us. But I've known Ewan for ages and he's a great driver. So it didn't kind of shock me as such on that. Going forward for you, that's going to give you some nice little points in the championship over John, especially coming from race number 1. Do we think, it's early days, don't get me wrong, we are only on race 3. Do we think we're looking at a possible John McHutchison, James Barry straight scrap towards the end of the season?
It's hard to say what will be the situation at the end of the season because there's still a long way to go, and there's still, I'd say, Luke is a driver who I wouldn't count out yet. But for sure, I expect myself to be there at the end of the season because it's been a better start than I could have imagined. I didn't think I would be winning races necessarily in this car. So yeah, let's see.
SR10 or SR8, which one?
For me, SR10. It depends on the track, I would say, because last week at Road Atlanta, I really enjoyed the SR8 because it rides the curbs really well. But at a flat track like this, probably prefer the SR10 just about.
Ooh, controversy there up here in the booth. Mm-hmm. But James, listen.
Can I just say one thing? Me and George were saying that this car understeers a lot. People slate the SR10 for understeer, but for us, this car understeers loads in the high speed corners as well here. So that's just my 2 cents about this car.
Is that just your right foot and your braking?
I don't think so. I mean, a Road Atlanta is good because you can throw the car around, but I mean, in the kind of longer corners, it kind of, in the initial phase, it does understeer a lot as well, I think. Okay. So yeah, I just wanted to say that because it's an interesting discussion, I think.
Yeah, of course. I've driven both and I still prefer the SR8. I've got to be honest on that one. But yeah, listen, that's just me. I'm old school. James, anyone you want to shout out before we let you go, bud?
Shout out Ivan for the really impressive performance in the second race, and shout out Luke for the battle in the first race as well. That was good fun.
Yeah, awesome stuff. Well, James, thanks so much for joining us, and I'll see you on Thursday.
All right, cheers. See you.
Take care.
Bye.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that has brought the interviews to an end. That has brought this evening's racing to an end as well, Tom. So great action from Road America this week, and we'll be on to Monza next week.
Well, what a show Road America's put on for the fans and the drivers for tonight. And goodness knows what Monza could bring. And yes, it's a long racetrack, but it's a fast one of it. A historical one and an evocative one for the drivers. And I really cannot wait to see how that plays out.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, guys, thanks so much for joining us. Don't forget to like, subscribe, turn on the bells, because we've got more racing coming up. We've got the Autobahn 60-minute sports car race later on. If you're a bit of a night out and you're not going to be going to sleep, then come and join us for that one. But there's a lot of action this week on the JPB YouTube channel. We've got UK sim races. We've got BSC, NASCAR, the Round 9's older sprint for the J2ICS, Radical Race Series, NARS on R Factor 2, Modern R Factor 2, F1 2024. God, there's just so much this week. No fewer than about 15 broadcasts for you to enjoy. So come along, get yourselves involved in that one. But I've been James Puffett. I've been alongside Tom Cairns here this evening. And as always, everyone, take care. Have a great week. And you never know, we might see you on a track sometime. Good night.